Or is this full-time MMA now?
I love full-time MMA right now.
Full-time MMA?
MMA.
Nothing
Yeah.
else?
My life, man, yeah.
Back to the daily grind, and shout out to the full-time patrons. Make sure to hit subscribe if you're new and hit thumbs up if you're not a baby back bagel biting bitch boy, because you know what time it is. It's full-time
MMA.
And Sergio Pettis looked amazing against Joseph Benavidez as far as I am concerned last night at UFC 225. I was super impressed by Sergio Pettis. He's only 24 years old already, though one of the most experienced UFC flyweights. We're looking at a future champion. I'm just going to come out and say it. Sergio Pettis is a future flyweight champion. He's only 24 years old. He's now fought Henry Cejudo and Joseph Benavidez in his last two fights. Two of the best flyweights in the world, not named Demetrius Johnson. He lost to Henry Cejudo. He got controlled by the wrestling, but that's what can happen when you're facing an Olympic-level wrestler in Henry Cejudo. He's going to be able to fold a lot of guys in this division, like nachos or like a lawn chair. Whatever Henry Cejudo wants to fold you into, he's probably going to turn your shit into origami. So that's a Henry Cejudo loss that Sergio Pettis was coming off of. But Joseph Benavidez actually had a win over Sergio Pettis in his last fight. But the thing is, it was somewhat controversial. It was a split decision. Some people had the fight going for Cejudo. So it's interesting now this fight was actually a split decision, but it did not go Joseph Benavidez's way. You know how that goes though. You leave it in the hand of the judge, no telling what they're watching for at that particular moment, at that particular fight. In the first fight, I thought Cejudo was going to get his hand raised against Benavidez. Benavidez got his hand raised. Some people might have thought Benavidez did enough to control Sergio Pettis and get his hand raised in this fight, but I honestly was not super surprised by Sergio Pettis getting his hand raised. Sergio Pettis looked great in the opening round, dropped Benavidez with a mean right hand followed by an uppercut. He literally almost got Joseph Benavidez out of the fight with a first round TKO. Sergio Pettis did. That's very impressive, as I said, for somebody that's only 24 years old. Sergio Pettis fighting the best flyweight in the world, not named Demetrius Johnson. He's the #1 ranked guy. Joseph Benavidez was before this fight. But now Sergio Pettis will probably move up to #2, #3 in the rankings of the flyweight division. But just back on the fight for a second before I get sidetracked. The first round was a good round for Sergio Pettis as far as the knockdown and almost getting the finish is concerned. But after Joseph Benavidez shaked off the cobwebs, perhaps he was able to start controlling the fight against the fence. In the clinch, he wasn't able to do a lot of damage to Sergio Pettis, but he also, I believe, scored 1 or 2 takedowns in the second or third round. But he still wasn't able to do a lot of damage. He was controlling Sergio Pettis in the third round as far as octagon control. Both of these fighters had their cardio on deck, but Joseph Benavidez's cardio was almost unmatched in the flyweight division. He was starting to pick it up in the second and third round. But with that being said, the fight ended up going to a decision after the third round. It was a narrow split decision, really close. It went, it was a split decision, so they read each judge's scorecard, and then the final scorecard was read, and it was a 30-27 for Sergio Pettis. Which that scorecard was pretty interesting to me. I definitely don't know if I had Sergio Pettis winning every round or even a 10-8, but hey, it is what it is. It was definitely a close fight, and I thought Sergio Pettis might have edged it out. Joseph Benavidez in there looking like the real Slim Shady, came in feeling fresh, feeling young, feeling spring, feeling new. But he had not fought before this fight in all of 2017. Joseph Benavidez, I believe, was out with the leg injury after his Henry Cejudo fight. So he was out all of 2017, about 14 months actually. And he was just now returning against one of the young upcoming prospects of the strawweight division in Sergio Pettis, or the flyweight division, not strawweight, men's flyweight division. Yeah, Demetrius Johnson's the champion. Sergio Pettis, though, moves to the #2 contender, possibly with this win over the #1 contender, Joseph Benavidez. Sergio Pettis is a name to keep your eye on in the flyweight division. I wouldn't be surprised if he fucked around and was the champion, sometime in the near future. Of course, Demetrius Johnson's the champ right now, so it might be a year. When I say the near future, I don't mean tomorrow. It's going to be hard for Sergio Pettis to get past Cejudo, even if he had to fight him again. Hell, against Demetrius Johnson, you got to think Demetrius Johnson would beat Pettis at this point. But this is the thing: Sergio Pettis is only 24 years old. Demetrius Johnson is like 32. You know what I'm saying? So there could very realistically, in 2 to 3 years. You know, Demetrius Johnson's not going to be the champion until he's 50, right? Time catches up to everybody. So I'm just saying, if you're talking about legitimate contenders for the future of the flyweight division, you're looking at Sergio Pettis. I mean, even Jose Shorty Torres just made his UFC debut last week. But right now, this is Sergio Pettis' moment. Congratulations to him for his big win over Joseph Benavidez at UFC 225 on the early fight pass prelims, and a great fight and a close split decision for Sergio Pettis. Let the full-time family know what you think in the comments. I'm out. And as always, thanks for checking out this video. If you're new, or if you're just slip or slacking on your pimping, make sure you hit the subscribe button and also hit the notification bell next to it so you're notified every time I upload a video. And if you want to help support this independent channel, you can either click the PayPal button in the description, or you can go to patreon.com/fulltimemma and consider becoming a patron. I'm out.
This is #1 bullshit.